Oh, yeah, pipe smokers. Happy Monday. It's the 17th of March, and it's St. Patrick's Day. Yeah. And so let's have a little smoke together here for Monday, the 17th of March, 2025. Yeah. Um, so, I don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day. I don't go out on it or none of that stuff. Yeah. So we've got a great show tonight. So grab your favorite pipe, grab your favorite blend, and grab your favorite beverage, and let's smoke together. Yeah. Yeah, so as many of you know, I was looking at doing snuff, and I watched all the videos of these guys that do snuff like habitually. And they're all like, they seem like crackheads. You know, they're all like, hey man, you got to try this snuff, man. This stuff is the greatest, man. Oh, I can feel it running down the back of my throat right now. I love it. It's so freaking, this is great. And I watched 3 or 4 videos. They all seem like crackheads. So I did get from the UK some Jock's Choice. Mullins Wesley Limited Jock's Choice. That's what, everyone recommended to me. And, wow. It's 20 grams. It's supposed to go a long way. Let's give it a little shot, but I'm going to use a jackknife, all right? So we'll take just a little bit of this and take a little bit there and go. Man. How do you guys do that? Wow, my eyes are watering. Ooh, fuck. Yeah, I can feel it run down. Wow. Holy shit. I can feel it run down the back of my throat a little bit. I was telling my buddy Eddie, it was like, yeah, man, I tried that stuff once, and it reminded me of snorting cocaine in the 1980s, which we all used to do. We were making $100,000 a year. We went out to clubs. We met girls. You'd buy a half a gram or maybe a gram of coke, do a few lines on the back of the toilet seat in the Dad's Club, and drink your face off. He said it kind of reminds me of that. And he's like, he was concerned. He's like, oh man, don't ever go back to that. I was like, no, man, the Lord took that away from me back in the 80s. I haven't done it. Well, I did some through the 90s. Yeah. And so I haven't done it I haven't done cocaine in over 25 years. But yeah, I'm being upfront and with you guys. And yeah, that's what we did in the 80s and 90s. We went out and partied our asses off, did coke, got up for work the next day, blew a freaking rail of it, threw a $100 bill, and went to work. If you went over to a girl's house, sometimes you went to work in the same suit that you or the day before. But yeah, those days are over, and God took that away from me. Thank the Lord. So it's been decades since I've done that. And I don't know about the snuff stuff, though. Man, we gotta take a break. So last year when we had the full eclipse, all right, it happened around, I don't know, 2:30 in the afternoon, something like that. And we're all outside talking. I was talking with one of my buddies, and I was like, yeah, man, but remember back in the 80s when we used to all do coke? And I was like really never a drug addict or anything. And this Chinese guy that works with us, he's older, he's in his 60s, he's like, 1980s? Oh, cocaine everywhere. And we were all laughing, and we were just, joking and stuff like that. And it was like, especially nowadays. I mean, if I was 25 years old again, I would be afraid to do that, because now they're putting fentanyl in it and all this shit. You can take one line of coke and fucking you're dead. I don't know enough about cocaine. I don't know, this stuff kind of just reminded me a little bit about it. It doesn't make me want to do it or anything, So, yeah, cheers and happy Monday, yeah. Don't you love that sound? Cheers. So, where did pipe smoking begin for me? Really it began because my grandfather was a pipe smoker. And before dinner, he would sit in his easy chair. He worked until he was like 78 years old. I think he died when he was 77. But he worked into his mid-70s at a cold storage where they kept apples. And around here in upstate New York, it's like apple country, peach country, pears, all of that stuff, grapes. So he worked in a cold storage, and he'd drive, the apples and stuff back and forth from Newfane, New York to Rochester, New York, and all over, And I remember every Sunday we'd go over there for dinner, and then it'd be like, he's sitting there puffing on his pipe. I wish I had his pipes. I remember the smell was so good. And then after dinner, he'd go in, turn his black and white TV on. We'd all go in the living room. He'd be puffing on his pipe. And, back in the 70s, it's like parents weren't like, oh my God, he's smoking around my children. It just wasn't that way until they came out with all these anti-smoking laws and so forth. Then people all of a sudden got offended. I remember sitting in the mall in the 80s, early 80s, smoking a cigarette, a Marlboro. You could walk through, any department store smoking a cigarette. There was ashtrays everywhere. Those days are gone. Yeah, so that's really where pipe smoking kind of started for me. And then when I wanted to cut down on cigarettes, I thought that smoking a pipe would help with that. And it has a bit. I went down from, I cut my cigarette consumption in about half. So, and my first pipe I bought in April of 2019, which is almost 6 years ago, and this is it. a Dr. Graybow, and that's my first pipe. It was like $39. I bought Captain Black's Cherry Aromatic. And that shit, man, I didn't know what tongue bite was. It started burning the shit out of my tongue. I was like, what the heck is going on here? And then, I found out about it. So I've got some Scotty's Butternut Burley in there. We're going to set that on fire. Yeah. Ah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I love this stuff. And this is from 1/20 of 2024. So 1/20 of 2021. So that makes it over 4 years old. And what a great smoking pipe. Oh, man. So my landlord, him and his daughter, I live in a double, so he lives on one side, I live on the other, and they're traveling down to Florida. His father, who had him when he was 16, so he's only 68. He's only 8 years older now. Was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, which is not good. Really, that's a death sentence. So they're flying down to Florida to see him before he gets operated on. I don't know the whole situation, but apparently they're going to try to take the tumor out of his pancreas. But usually when you're diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, you got between 6 months and 2 years to live. That's like one of the worst forms of cancer. So Brandy Nyberg, yeah. You sent me a little cold weather up tonight. It was like 36 degrees. But it's not going to last because we're going to be in the 60s and 70s through the rest of the week. Oh, yeah. This Scotty's Butternut Burley is good. And that Dr. Graybow smokes phenomenal. I bought that at a smoke shop. And it kind of turned from a smoke shop that had cigars and nice pipes into like a head shop. Because they made marijuana legal here in the U.S. or made it legal in New York. So now they sell marijuana, glass pipes, bongs, and you can't find anything like that really anywhere around here. I think that was a stupid decision that our politicians made, making marijuana illegal or legal here in New York. Because now these idiots, you know, you work with guys and now they just go out and smoke it on their break like a cigarette. And then come back after their breaks and they're like stupid. I don't smoke that shit. Never liked it. Back in the 80s, I liked the cocaine. Oh yeah, she don't lie, she don't lie, she don't lie. Cocaine. But I'm so glad, I thank the Lord every day that I haven't touched that stuff in 2.5 decades. Oh yeah. Oh man, that Scotty's butternut burley's so good. So my friend and landlord, they're going away for 4 days. They have 3 cats. And I'm responsible, I agreed to this, to scoop the litter box, 2 of them. And there's 3 dishes right there. And he's got the special watering bowl. I don't know. It's like a fountain for the cats, whatever. I don't know. And he buys them like Poland Springs water, you know, doesn't give them the well water. And so, you know, he's like, all right, man, here's a scoop. All right. Here's 1 cup. You take 1 cup and divvy it up between 3 bowls. You do that in the morning and you do it at night. And I'm thinking to myself, I says, that's not very much food. He's like, no, that's all they need. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why don't you just give them like 1 cup each once a day instead of twice a day? I'm thinking that to myself, but I didn't really say anything. I was just like, all right, yeah, just following directions, you know. So, you know, he's glad that I'm able to help him out and do that while he's gone. And so he gave me a key to his side of the house. He says, hey man, I'll come over here. I'm only going to go in this area. Obviously, I'm not going to walk through your house. And he says, I know that, you know. But some people would. Some people would be like, oh, let's do a little exploring when the landlord's away, you know. That's kind of creepy, in my opinion. Yeah, so I don't know how much I like that snuff. It kind of stings my nose. I don't know. Anybody else do snuff? I don't know. It just feels weird. I remember seeing Mick Jagger, you know, just before he went on stage, somebody took a switchblade knife, dug a whole thing of cocaine out, and he's like, you know, this was back in the early 70s. He's like, yeah, man, I'm ready now, you know. Back then, they were all doing it, you know. I don't know. Watching my savings go up a little bit for the house I want to build. And, you know, it kind of dropped $600 because I bought that Fender Telecaster, but I just couldn't resist. How can you resist a ruby red 1995 Fender Telecaster that was made in Corona, California, assembled in Mexico, shipped back, set up here by Fender? It just, when I told the old guy, I was like, he's like, I bought a brand new. And I was like, all right, I'll take it to Dave, my guitar guy, and I'll let him set it up. He's like, you don't need to take that to Dave. It's already all set up. There ain't nothing wrong with that guitar. It's all good. But if you talk to Dave, tell him I said hello. I've known him for 50 years. So, yeah, my beautiful Telecaster. I got to show you guys in case you haven't seen it. So this is my beautiful Fender Telecaster that I bought that's like brand new. It's a 1995, yeah. And man, this thing plays like, it plays like butter. Thank you, Johnny Onion Manion, 2 a.m. Pipe on the Patio, for like helping me make a decision on this guitar. He's like, $600, buy it. If you don't, I will. Yeah, look at that baby. She's sweet, man. And oh man, she stays in tune. That's just a gorgeous guitar. I was talking with, well, I won't tell you who it was. You've all seen him. He's a presenter, and he happens to be a good friend of mine. And he was saying, hey man, look at these guitars I just bought. And I was like, wow, that's cool, man. This is, you know, I got 3 expensive habits, you know. Well, they're passions. I said guns, guitars, and pipes and tobacco. And he's like, oh yeah, well, me too, you know. It's like, hey, what? You collect guns too? He's like, oh yeah. And he was telling me, you know, what he had and stuff like that. So it was great to talk to him. Yeah. So, you know, I'll tell you what. Guns, guitars, and pipes and tobacco will set you back. But you know what? If you don't do drugs, you don't go out to bars, pissing your money away, you can have a budget where you can own this kind of stuff. Yeah. Anyways, Paul the Pipe Guy, yeah. Look at that sweet girl. Look at her. Oh, ain't she gorgeous? Yeah. Paul the Pipe Guy over and out. And happy Monday.